Yo, what's going on, guys? And you guys know what time it is. Eastern Conference Finals. Eastern Conference Semifinals. Don't know why I said it like that. But before we start today's video, as you guys know, we're doing my predictions. I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who do you think is going to win this series and why? And how many games? Let me hear them down below. If you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. We're on the way to 20,000 subscribers. Now, we are going to make this about an 8-minute video, so if you just want to skip to the end, go to the 6 or 7 minute mark, and I'll give my prediction on who I think will win and why. Let's get right into it. So, we'll talk about the Miami Heat, and they're an interesting team, to say the least. Now, when you look at this team, the way it's going to go is this team, their main guys, all right, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, all right, as their starters as of late. And it's been interesting because tonight's game, they had a starting lineup of Strus, Gabe Vincent, Bam Adebayo, Kevin Love, and Jimmy Butler. And they've had, for the last 2 games, Kyle Lowry come off the bench. And I expect that to continue. So Kevin Love, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler as the starting lineup. Then you have Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and Caleb Martin. A little bit of Cody Zeller in there as the off-the-bench guy. Really, the lineup that we saw tonight is probably what they're going to be playing against the Knicks. Butler, Love, Adebayo, Vincent, Strus starting lineup. Then Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and Cody Zeller if they go 9 deep. Now, what do they have here? They have Jimmy Butler, who's an animal, okay? He's going to just do his thing. Playoff Jimmy's real. Playoff Jimmy, there's no need to talk about him. He's unbelievable. He's the X factor. He can will this team to victory. You got Kevin Love, who can hit the three-point shot, but he's amazing at drawing charges, all right? And Kevin Love, so far this playoff series, he's shooting 6 threes a night at 43%. So he's hitting these three-point shots. So is Kyle Lowry. So is Duncan Robinson. All right. This team's hitting their three-point shots. All right. So far, they are the best three-point shooting team in the playoffs. All right. They're shooting the best percentage. They're hitting the second most threes. They're hitting almost 16 threes a night. And the other thing is they score a bunch of points, and they're also Bam Adebayo is one of, if not the best defender in the league at multi-positional. Caleb Martin's a good defender, and Gabe Vincent, I mean, he tries. Kyle Lowry, he tries. Kevin Love, he tries. Duncan Robinson, I mean, he just out there shooting threes, grabbing rebounds, and moving the ball around. Cody Zeller, he comes out, he's a body, but you got yourself Kevin Love, who's also averaging a block a game. And you got 2 steals a night from Jimmy Butler, 2 steals a night from Bam Adebayo. This is obviously your scoring is coming through Jimmy, who's averaging 38 points almost a night. Then you're getting 18 a night from Bam Adebayo, who's also grabbing 9 rebounds. Then Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, Kevin Love, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, Max Strus make up the rest of the scoring for this team. It's not great. Basically every night, besides Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, Jimmy's going to continue having to average close to 40 points a night if they're going to want to beat the Knicks. Bam's, I'm not saying he's going to have a triple-double every night, but he's also passing the ball great, but he's going to have to average at least 20 and 10 and be also a secondary playmaker. They need Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, Kevin Love, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, all to take turns alternating on being the third option. Okay, one night it's got to be Gabe Vincent going off. The next night it's got to be Kevin Love. The next night it's got to be Caleb Martin. The other night it's got to be Duncan Robinson. The following night it's got to be Kyle Lowry or whoever the hell. So they just got to rotate who's going to step up third. But if they continue to play their game, which has been keep the ball moving, force turnovers, all right, get to the free throw line, hit their three-point shots. Their three-point is what's been keeping them alive. This team can shoot three-point shots at an insane rate that's unreal. And Jimmy's going to be guarded by a combination of probably Josh Hart, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, primarily. Okay, if we're gonna be real, that's how it's gonna go. All right, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, Josh Hart, and maybe a little bit of Julius Randle too in there. Bam Adebayo is going to be going up against Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Probably a little bit of Obi Toppin. Right there, I think Bam Adebayo is the better. Again, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are, I think, way better than the best players on the Knicks. Now, the rest of the Knicks roster is arguably better than the third options on the Heat. And when you look at this right here, this is just ridiculous. Now, let's look at here. Knicks have the better point guard. Granted, you could argue that the Heat have better defensive point guards, but Jalen Brunson and Emmanuel Quickley are, that point guard rotation right there. They're going to get the job done, and Jalen Brunson is going to score bunches and put pressure, on the Heat. And while the Knicks aren't the best three-point shooting team in the playoffs so far, they have been able to get to the free throw line. They're one of the best free throw shooting teams in the league. So they're going to be putting the pressure on Bam Adebayo, Kevin Love, Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler, attacking the rim. So for the Heat to win this, the Heat are going to have to be hitting their three-point shots and forcing the Knicks to beat them with their three-point shots and clogging the paint. While the Knicks are going to try to force the Heat to score inside and, not let them shoot threes. That's basically the easiest way to say how this matchup is. Jalen Brunson's obviously way better than Kyle Lowry and Gabe Vincent. So you could argue. And then, again, the depth here where even though they don't play hella people off the bench, it's really Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, and Isaiah Hartenstein off the bench. I think Mitch Robinson and Hartenstein aren't as good as Bam Adebayo. I know, I just think Bam Adebayo, Kevin Love, and Cody Zeller, I guess, are maybe not rim protection wise, but offensively, they're more talented than Robinson, Hartenstein, and Toppin. And I think points wise, those guys, I think, are going to outscore the front court of. So I think the Heat have the better front court. And I know you could throw Randle in there, but Randle's a liability, defensively. And then you got yourself a guy who also is having a horrendous playoffs so far, shooting, 34% from the field, and he's been hurt. And, so we don't know with Julius Randle. He's kind of, if Julius Randle can get back to being Julius Randle, the Knicks should win this. R.J. Barrett's another guy who's been really bad. And this has been kind of the Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickley's been, it's actually kind of crazy how bad this team, the Knicks, are scoring. Guys, the more I sit here and talk, the Knicks can't score. I got the Heat winning this in 6. Heat in 6, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I got.